Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Jimmy from Just the Trading. So I wanted to make this quick video to go over a trade I took that I've been signaling all over my Discord since last week. It was an S plus setup on SPY, and it got me 184% as a day trade. So before we get into it, if you like this content, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss out on any of the future videos. Also, I'll be posting in the description below the link to the free Discord so you can join the team and you can make some money with us. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So first off, I just wanted to go over the Discord, what I posted last week on 9/28, or actually 9/27 for 9/28. And what I posted was to identify that ES, we were breaching the June lows and we were selling off in after hours on the 27th. So what I wanted to look at was that we were coming up to a key level down at 35.86 and then 35.41. So between those two levels, it was actually a weekly demand, which coincides with the weekly 200 simple moving average. And that's where I signaled that I wanted to enter in calls. So let me blow this up real quick. So you can see here that we have those two levels I mentioned, the two turquoise lines, and they were a wick as a higher high, and then we had this secondary wick. But these two actually coincide with this little basin candle right here with the candle body. So we had a rally-based rally on a weekly. So this gave us a nice weekly demand zone, and just so happens that it coincide with this 200 simple moving average on the weekly. So that's what I saw. It was a really good setup. I'll make future videos on how to identify these and how to chart actual supply and demand zones. But for now, this is our weekly demand zone with confluence that our 200 simple moving average was right there. So on that day, we didn't actually get to that 200 simple moving average just yet, but we did have some ways down to go. But I did know that with with that setup, there were some other key factors that I took into account. Another key factor is that looking at the daily RSI, our daily RSI, we were at 25.95, which is below that 30, 5 points below that range, well, 4.05 points below that range of 30. 30 and 70 is where normally you would are at more of a balanced state. Anything below and above 30 and 70, they are your oversold and overbought conditions. So because we were at such oversold conditions, that had another contributing factor as to why I really like this trade. And then one other thing that I wanted to look at was VX. So VX is their future VIX for volatility index. And so we were actually breaking out of this trend line. And before breaking out of this trend line, upper trend line, we actually never really based out. You can see there's an area of consolidation right here between this 23 all the way to 27 level, and then we broke out. And this breakout kind of coincides with the length of the breakout between the very bottom of this flying wedge to this consolidation area. So when I see these things, I think it's due for a pullback because we never really based out before the actual breakout. We just kind of rocketed from 27.5 all the way to 31.75, 32. So that was another contributing factor. You can even see that on the RSI for VIX, we are also above 70. We're at actually 70.9, so not too overbought like the like what we saw in ES where it was 5 points above and below, but it was still overbought on VIX futures. So those are two contributing elements. One other thing is that we were actually pretty similar for NQ, because tech is such a big contributing factor to the overall market and SPY. It's not surprising that we were pretty close to the 200 simple moving average on the weekly as well, and we actually wicked off of it on NQ. So for all that, that kind of gave us the setup of what we were going into. And so over the weekend on actually Friday, it's when I entered into a SPY call, and I got even more this morning. And I wanted to kind of show you guys what did I see. You can kind of see here, this is what happened in the overnight session. We had this little wick right here, so let me just jump to the chart now. So again, what I was showing earlier with the weekly demand zone, this is all after hours right now. It's actually 1:13 a.m. in the morning. I actually recorded this video earlier and the audio got cut out, so I am actually re-recording again. So you can see here last week, this was Friday's, last week with Friday's close. If I zoom in, we actually don't see a touch there because of the weekly candle. But if we go to smaller time frames, let's just say the 1 hour, we can actually see here that we actually did breach this demand zone, and we actually created this basing candle right here on Sunday night. So between here and if I go down to an even smaller time frame to the 5 minute, right, when we breached here and we saw that basing candle that I just showed you guys, that 1 hour, this created a good demand zone. So that once we created this consolidation period and we actually got back to this demand zone, we bounced out. And right here is around the 5:50, 5:30-ish a.m. in the morning on Monday morning. And so we had this nice little rally after bouncing out of this demand zone. And so similarly to what we created right here in this demand zone, in this consolidation period, this whole area is really treated as consolidation as well before we broke out. And so it's a really easy retest right here at market open. So at market open around 9:40 a.m., we actually came down to this consolidation zone that I mentioned, and we bounced out with this buyer's wick. So right here is a really good indicator that we can move up further and even test the daily 9 EMA. So why why did I take this trade and why I was targeting the daily 9 EMA? So if I were to go back to the daily, a few factors. One is all of the confluence that we saw with this large weekly demand zone and then creating demand zone on the way up with higher lows. So when I do see this, this is a pretty good sign that there's a lot of buyers in the market. I think everyone, not, although I would want to say that everyone was watching this 200 simple moving average, a lot of YouTubers that I do follow, a lot of them actually didn't mention that. So I did see this as a pretty good opportunity. And when I entered for another contract, it was actually right at this demand zone, this whole consolidation period that I mentioned. And so from here, with the entry around that 36.19, 36.20 entry, all the way up to 36.80, that was a 184% gain. So you can say that your risk was very limited because of all the buying pressure and all the demand and consolidation zones that we saw building up to this point. And then your risk, so your risk is really capped. And then your reward, because we were so oversold, right? If we go back to the daily, your reward was pretty high. And I was targeting this daily 9. I didn't think that we would actually break past it. Right now at 1 in the morning, we did break past it, and we could see um, some more consolidation as well before we really break out. We can retest its daily 9 overnight. If I switch over to my default chart, we're approaching and we're actually inside this 3-hour supply zone. So we did build a lot of demand on the way up right here. If I switch to my 1 hour, you can kind of see we have 90 minutes, 1 hour. So on the way up, this is very healthy with a lot of buying pressure. We'll see how price reacts to these supply zones overnight, and we even have a fib level and a pre-key level at 37.40 that we'll see what happens overnight. But this was a pretty good risk reward trade. I think I measured it last week. It was going to be a 8x ROI. So I took it. You got to take these trades when it presents itself. These kind of trades, you take 8 out of 9 trades, 8 out of 10 trades, you're going to be profitable in the long run, right? Just take good, clean trades, and that's how you make money. So that's it for this video. If you guys like this content and like this video, just be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And I'll be posting more trade videos as I get more 100% gainers. All right, that's all, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.